This is my house.
Why are people being weird about Sydney Sweeney and Hannah Barron? People are also being weird about Star Wars, but I think I can at least explain that one. The Acolyte trailer is really getting a beating. I mean, it's getting destroyed. It is at time of writing on 179,000 upvotes and 543,000 downvotes. That's over 75% downvotes from over 500,000 people. And there wasn't even really that much in the trailer to get mad at. There was almost nothing there. It had all the substance of a vapour, and what could they have done? Well, building up a good villain would have helped for me. Maybe tempting me with some characters or a story. I think a lot of now presumably ex-Star Wars fans are done. They're just done. I had some very weird responses to my last video from people who are maybe still on the Star Wars bandwagon, like this one who said, "Actively crazy to say there's been no good Star Wars since Empire. Andor is brilliant." And they said that in response to me saying in my last video, I have kind of resigned myself at this point that nothing even close to as good as The Empire Strikes Back is coming soon, if ever. They somehow listened to that and heard, there's been no good Star Wars since Empire. And those two things are not the same at all. The trailer now has over 45,000 comments under it, all of which seem to be ripping on it. I saw one comment that said, "I'm afraid the comment section will be fully operational when your friends arrive." And that one made me laugh. Far too much. People were asking if I was okay. So thanks to whoever wrote that. You've won one internet. And lots of people running with some variation of, "Close your eyes, what do you see?" Like this one which said, "Close your eyes, what do you see?" I see the show getting burned worse than Anakin on Mustafar. The problem with that joke is that the line "close your eyes, what do you see" wasn't even in the trailer.
Close your eyes. Tell me what comes into your mind.
People have just stopped listening to each other at this point, and if you want to understand people, you kind of do need to listen to them. And I have more sympathy for the disgruntled, now presumably ex-fans, because if they've stopped listening to Disney, it's probably because Disney stopped listening to them years ago and regularly demeans long-standing fans of the franchise. It's like in boxing. If one fighter is hitting below the belt over and over again, and the other fighter chooses to give them one back, yes, it's a foul, but they kind of had it coming. And reading through some of the 45,000 comments was also very funny, so I'm feeling kindly disposed to their side. But what the hell is going on with people's response to Sydney Sweeney, whose name, now I think of it, is a recipe for sibilance, as ironically as the word sibilance, because it's all gone very silly. A lot of people on the left are now seemingly convinced that Sydney Sweeney has become a darling of the right, and now they don't seem to like her because of it. It even got covered in that bastion of journalistic integrity, The Guardian, following her appearance on Saturday Night Live. Social media users declared that wokeness is dead, while one of Canada's biggest daily national newspapers asked, "Are Sydney Sweeney's breasts double D harbingers of the death of woke?" So she's now getting lionised by some and hated by others, and I'm standing here confused because she doesn't appear to be doing anything. She just seems like quite a sweet young lady, albeit a sweet young lady with quite impressive jubblies. It hardly seems fair that people want to drag her into politics. It also seems grossly unfair to her that we now seem to have gone past guilt by association. She isn't even associating with these people. Now she's just guilty of being liked by what in some people's view are the wrong people. And I'm still standing here confused because she still doesn't appear to be doing anything. Just being on stage with her jubblies seems to have been enough to have one side of the aisle unable to stop themselves looking at her norks and salivating, and the other side telling her to cover up. So she somehow seems to have united both right and left by making both of them act like the Taliban. The whole thing smacks of teenage girl-like reputation destruction. I tried to find out why people don't like her, and every controversy seems to have nothing behind it. She allegedly got accused of cheating on her partner on the strength of photos with another man that were just scenes for a romantic comedy she was filming. Which is hardly unreasonable for an actress now, is it? Is it just down to jealousy? She gets messages like this, and for what? Well, it appears she shared pictures of her mother's 60th birthday party on social media, where some people at the party were wearing hats that said "Make 60 Great Again," and supposedly someone at the party was wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt, and for that, she got messages like this. There were people on Twitter demanding she disown her family because they didn't like their hats. The existence of Sydney Sweeney and her jugs seems to be interpreted as a political statement alone. People want to control what this young woman can wear. People want to control what she can say, who she can talk to, who she can stand near, who is allowed to like her, and she gets blamed if the wrong people like her. Now, if you're one of the 8 people that watched my Madam Web review, God bless you. I didn't like the film very much, but I think it got more hate than it deserved. I don't think Sydney Sweeney was great in it, but the script didn't give her much to work with, to be fair. But since then, I've kind of warmed to her a little. She's been on a few TV shows and I find her quite charming and disarming. She seems to have a good sense of humour and be able to laugh at herself. She actually seems fun. She's a very far cry from Hollywood's usual brand of nagging scolds and harridans. She seems nice. Can we not ruin her, please? And it's not because she's attractive, at least I hope not. I didn't jump to her defence after Madam Web. I like to think I'd do this for anyone that was being mistreated, and honestly, when it comes to women, it tends to be ones that look a bit more like this and have an impish sense of humour that leave me in a cold sweat. A bit more Hannah Barronish, if you will, and I'm not sure why she's getting hate either. For what? Having the temerity to have an Alabama accent when she's from Alabama, and being handy. She can hunt, she can build, she's cute as a button, she's not scared of getting muddy, she seemed actually to be fun, she seems like a nice person, salt of the earth, can we not ruin her either? I'm trying to be respectful because she's a married lady, but I don't know what to tell you. If I was married to her, I think I'd eat a fried catfish.
Those look good. A big salty clam would sure go great with this heat. You want one, Daff?
No!
Oh, give it a rest, Fred. But Sydney Sweeney seems to be genuinely nice. Can we not ruin her, please? Do we really want to see Hollywood ruin another young woman? Have we learned nothing from Britney Spears? I know it's hard to see Sydney Sweeney as a human being, but trust me, she is. She's a person like you or I, and I don't know about you, but I know that I would be pretty shaken up right now. Whatever the case of her, whatever the cause of her performance was, I don't care. All I care about is Sydney's well-being, and Sydney, all I want for you is to get over being in Madam Web. It's all I want. And what really bothers me is to think of all those people out there who don't see her as a person. And if anything ever happened to Sydney Sweeney, I would be somewhat unhappy. I don't care what anyone says, I love Sydney, and if anything ever happens to her, if she's ever unlucky enough to find herself in another Sony superhero film, I will try to watch it. Get well, Sydney. The world needs to know that Sydney still has her fans. Sydney needs to know that she still has her fans. I love you, Sydney, just know that, okay? Just know that, and how dare anyone out there make fun of Sydney after all she's been through? She was in Madam Web. All you people care about is readers and making money off her and her enormous jugglers. She's a human. What you don't realise is that Sydney's making you all this money and all you do is write a bunch of rubbish about her. All you people want is more and more and more and more. Leave her alone. You're lucky she even performed for you. Can you imagine how much back pain she has to cope with lugging those things around? Leave Sydney alone, please. Leave Sydney alone right now, I mean it. Anyone who has a problem with her, you deal with me. And to ram it home for those people who didn't get the joke or understand that last monologue section. I was doing an homage to the Leave Britney Alone video, and as crazy as I tried to make myself sound, I don't think I even got close to how unhinged the original was.
Fuck. Jesus. Never rub another man's rhubarb.